I've already told you what I love about Blender, but every piece of software has its issues. Blender is a unique piece of 3D software in many respects. This uniqueness means that some things about the way Blender works are awesome, while others make you want to tear your hair out. Here are my top 10 things I hate about using Blender. Number 10. No Enable All button in the add-ons panel. This is a personal pet peeve of mine, so I put it last. When I need to do a new install of Blender, I can't stand that there's not an Enable All button in the add-ons panel. Otherwise, I have to click a million checkboxes to individually add each add-on. I wish there was an Enable All button. 9. Undocumented features. As mentioned in my previous 10 things I love about Blender, there are many cool tools hidden deep inside of Blender. So why are they so hidden? Also, these features either have minimal documentation or none at all. Having a tool you don't know exists is the same as not having one in the first place. 8. Bizarre interface. Many of you would put this at the very top of the list, and I can see it's the #1 complaint new users have. I don't know if the Blender interface can or should be radically redesigned, but it should at least be the topic of conversation, because number 7, almost nothing follows industry standards of interface design. From right-clicking to select, to the fact that the entire interface is one big window, nothing in Blender is standard by default. Yes, you can switch some things in the system prefs, but most of the Blender interface is just plain weird by its very nature. For many people, this may seem cool. For others, if it's not broke, don't fix it, by making right-click do what left-click does in every other piece of software. 6. Steep learning curve for new users. I've attempted to introduce Blender to friends and coworkers who see what I've worked on and are intrigued. I petition them to download Blender. Hey, it's free, what can you lose? Apparently you're mined. So far my success rate has been 0%. If you're new to Blender, it's not very inviting, in part because of number 5. If you don't know the shortcut keys, you're screwed. As mentioned in my love video, you can work incredibly fast in Blender, with one caveat. You must know the shortcut keys. For some tools, the only way to get to them is the shortcut keys. Until you get those memorized, Blender is not a fun environment to work in. Number 4, lack of visual object library. Yes, the append and linking system give you the ability to share assets and update them dynamically across multiple shots, but having to manually drill down into a file, just seeing a massive list of objects to choose from is not very intuitive. It would be much better if you could build a library of assets with thumbnails for each and drag and drop them into scenes like other software allows. Number 3, the render engine is so damn slow. I'm grateful that the Blender internal engine is not the only choice, and Cycles can do a pretty damn good job. But when you compare the speed of other render engines, it still needs a lot of optimizing. Number 2, lack of respect from the rest of the industry. Even though I've been blasting on Blender here, it drives me nuts how little respect the software gets from the rest of the industry. It's getting slightly better, but there is still the stigma that if your 3D software doesn't cost $3,000 per seat, it must not be real software. The perception is still out there that Blender is a hobbyist tool not ready for prime time. This pisses me off. Number 1, that damn startup cube. Yes, other items on the list are far more important, but nothing drives me more insane than downloading the newest version of Blender, starting it up, and seeing that stupid-ass cube you have to manually delete and save startup file over. Seriously, what point is that damn thing? Unless every render you do is of a set of dice, the startup cube has got to go.